Hello Mallards, it is Wednesday and today we have the first rehearsal for Posthumous and it went wonderfully. I'm so excited for the new cast and all of the returning veterans, and I think we're really gonna have an absolutely wonderful time all working together, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the show shapes up. But what I really wanted to talk about today was I just watched the most recent episode of What We Do in the Shadows. So last week's episode, which was like a house flipping parody, was hilarious, top tier, absolutely wonderful. I loved it from start to finish. It had a really fun twist at the end, had a lot of silly moments, a lot of roommate drama that I really enjoyed. This week's episode, I had been living a little bit in anticipation of because it's titled Freddie, and I knew that Freddie was Guillermo's secret boyfriend who he'd been talking to since he got back from Europe, and we'd seen a little bit of him FaceTiming. Clearly there was something going on, which is really exciting because Nandor got a wife and hasn't been giving Guillermo the time of day, even though he clearly likes him, as evidenced by the fact that when he made his wife Marwa wished for Marwa to like everything that he likes, suddenly she really liked Guillermo. Just put it out there. Anyway, so I was excited, interested, thought it would be cool, had some fun dynamics. And then the episode was kind of a dumpster fire. There were some okay bits. Colin is growing up, hit puberty instantly, got really angry, can't sing anymore. Things went very bad at the nightclub in a really funny way. The bits that didn't have to do with Nandor and Guillermo were fine. Nothing revolutionary, but they were fine. It was interesting. It was fun to watch Nadia fall apart at the club and watch the club sort of fall apart. And then Laszlo and Colin's dynamic was fine and fun. Didn't mind that part. Meanwhile, Freddie shows up, and Nandor is kind of bored in his marriage, understandably, because he stupidly wished for his wife to like all of the things he likes. And as a person who's obsessed with new people and making new friends and greeting new people, the best part about new people is they like stuff you don't like and they want to tell you about it. And if people only like the things that you like, life gets kind of boring. Certainly for somebody like Nandor, who I feel like I often relate to in the wanting to kind of pick a fight a little bit. We probably have the same Myers-Briggs type. Anyway, I'm a debater, and so he's been bored in his married life, which made us think that maybe finally things would come around with Guillermo, maybe just a little bit. But instead, this British boy shows up, and he and Guillermo are so happy. And then he is nice to Nandor, and Nandor's oh my God, this is what I want. And he makes a wish to turn Marwa, his beautiful POC wife, into a carbon copy of this British white boy. And then they proceed to do all the same things together that Guillermo and his Freddie are doing. And I get maybe where they were coming from with this, but it mostly falls flat. You feel like Marwa was done a disservice because of this, and it really crushed any chance at happiness that poor Guillermo had once he figures out what's going on, and it just really darkened Nandor's character for me in a way that even some of his other promising to turn Guillermo into a vampire and then not doing it parts hadn't quite managed. It went bad from start to finish, and I am frustrated and angry, and that is annoying. And then it ends with Nandor with Freddie, Guillermo's Freddie, going back because he has to go back to the UK because he's got things, but they're still FaceTiming. But Nandor has kept his Freddie, even though I'm pretty sure he has wishes left. And so his Freddie and Guillermo's Freddie keep talking. So every time Guillermo's like FaceTiming his Freddie, the other Freddie comes in, and of course they talk to each other because they are literally the same person, and they can have conversations about interests, which like comes back to that getting bored thing. But we'll move on to that in a second. And then Nandor just feels bad that Guillermo feels bad and sad, and he decides to offer him his Freddie, which doesn't go well, understandably. But the worst part is that Nandor decides to let his Freddie go. And that would be fine if he turned him back into Marwa. And maybe a Marwa who didn't like everything that Nandor liked. Like, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that's what they should have done. But instead, he leaves him like Freddie, sends him off to explore the world, and Marwa's character is gone. Done a huge disservice by just ceasing to exist. And that is really frustrating because they built a lot on her, and I really liked her, and she was interesting and could have had some fun dynamics. But then Guillermo goes to surprise Freddie in the UK, and he's outside of his apartment and he's all excited. And then he looks across the street to see Freddie spending time with himself. Maybe romantic time. Weird. A little weird. But all I could think about is, wow, you took Marwa and you ruined everything that was interesting about her, because she was really interesting. It's why we liked her being chosen for the wife, by making her like everything Nandor likes. But maybe that would teach him a lesson about changing people. And then maybe he wouldn't do that. He'd change her back. He'd figure that out. And then we could have an interesting character for Nandor, and Guillermo could potentially have this new boy, and it would be interesting. But no, you turned her into this man and you sent her into the world. And then you have her hook up with her version, the version of herself, which means that once again, even if she remembers none of it, she is exactly the same as the person who is in love with her, and they're probably also going to get bored, and it's just going to be a vicious cycle that starts all over again. That's really frustrating to me, and there are also still genie wishes left, and he didn't use them to fix Marwa. Somebody better. Anyway, rant over. This episode, not great. I'm still going to watch the finale, though. I really like this show. Why'd you do me so dirty? I'll see you tomorrow.